this is a reading for you. It is not attached to a zodiac sign or a timeline. The intention is if you come across this reading, it should benefit you in some way. That being said, I've pulled some cards for you. Let's see what message you get. You're represented by the moon. This is fears, the chatter of the mind, but also an adventure. The dark trail leads to the unknown. You don't necessarily know what to expect here. And there's maybe a sense of a need to trust yourself, a need to trust your intuition, allowing it to guide you down this path of uncertainty. Now, you're crossed with stability or a person who's very stable. And I feel like there's a lot of changes that need to happen because you have death representing you above or on your mind. And it's like you're crossed with this opportunity to improve yourself or to change your life. And now this is something that I feel like you've been battling with for some time, or defending for some time, or trying to just sort of keep your stature or your position, or you've been sort of clawing and fighting your way through things or through life. But even though there is an uncertainty with this, even though there is a fear with this, with the moon and the shadows and all that, you begin to approach it. You start to see what your life could be. You start to think, hey, my life doesn't have to be a catastrophe filled with all the horrors and bullshit that I put into it from my lesser self, my lesser desires, my impulses, my confusion. Or, I don't have to be afraid to approach this new way of seeing things, this new way of living, this new way of being, this new way of moving through the world. And as you start to approach this, or as you make this communication, it could be a communication as well. It could come in, or you could be giving it. I could really see it either way, but it brings a tower. It brings a shattering moment of where things will never be the same, and it's clarified by justice. So there's sort of a righteousness to this. There's sort of a sudden change for the better. But it's not due to luck. It's due to you seizing the opportunity at hand, the idea, the inspiration, the vision of what you could be, or the vision of what something could be. And by the way, the outside influence is very receptive. There's possibility, there's fertility, there is room for growth. Now, the Empress is sort of a clumsy card. I often think of childbirth, right? Because if you've ever had children, you'll know that bearing children is a confusing and painful and just what an experience, right? But if you handle everything properly, you get the baby and ideally raise it and everything else. It's your hesitation or fear of being let down. Maybe you've been disappointed time and time again in different circumstances of your life or in a specific situation, but you make this choice. The Lovers represents a choice. It's a crossroads. It's a moment where you can rise to the occasion and go down the path of initiation, the unknown, the improvement of oneself, or you can return to the village of mediocrity and superficiality and all that shit that you've already found no contentment in, no peace, no rest, no love, no joy. It's just surface. I do think that you rise to the occasion. The Emperor, clarifying the Lovers, to me, I feel like suggest a rebuilding of oneself. It could be choosing a person, if that fits, but to me, it's rebuilding one's character, rebuilding yourself, and deciding to address things now, not later. Taking the power in your hands now, not later. And saying that my justice will come by God, come hell or high water, or whatever army you throw at me. Let's shuffle another spread and see what we get. I do want to take a moment to promote my Patreon. That is where all the extended versions of these readings go, as well as exclusive content and art prints that I send out monthly. And it is a great way to support me as an independent artist and creative. I'm a full-time artist and tarot reader and content creator. And so if you resonate with these readings and you want to enjoy the extended versions and support all that, definitely feel free to check that out. It's in the description below. Also, if you're interested in personal readings, that is available on my website, also in the description below. And of course, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff would be greatly appreciated. Let's pull an advice spread. Or let's switch it up, because I usually follow up with an advice. Let's see, what's coming in for you? Judgment. So this is the point where you've chose. Like, we're past the Lovers. I like it that it starts there at Judgment, because with that Lovers being there and the sort of crossroads moment, it's like you've made the judgment call. You've made the final leap. And you're scared. You're anxious. You're watching this. You're looking for results. You're looking for everything. You could walk away from a situation or a relationship. Some of you may find clarity in one. It's hard to say, because it's interesting, because there's this sort of walking away from the Two of Cups, or walking away from certain things in order to embrace this Two of Cups even. It could, I could really take it either way, because when I clarify it, I get the Sun and the Knight of Cups. So to me, it's interesting because there's some sort of positive shift or communication that has come in, or, you know, maybe this is the choice. Maybe it's like walk away or embrace, or, you know, there's something significant to probably relationships behind you, or, you know, a decision you're afraid to make. And right now it's almost like you're kind of looking at this and hoping for the best, trying to like sort of tame your inner conflict even. But ahead of you, there is, you know, transformation with, and you know, balancing starting to put your tools to use in sort of a balanced way, or, you know, going from temperance, from like sort of like dipping your toes into a strong start, you know, because it's like you've been trying to, the thing about the Magician is, you know, he's just mastered his tools. He's pre-motion in his stance. You know, a lot of people think of the Magician as like some all-powerful magic wielding kind, you know what I'm saying? But really, he's a student. But he's at the beginning of his journey. He's found, he's learned how to use his tools. He's found inner balance and has learned how to create whatever he wants. He's gained insight into the infinite. But now he has to maybe utilize that wisely, maybe refine it, learn, you know, he has to understand what and why he is creating, which is what takes him on the journey to the high priestess and so on. But, you know, there's a sense of finding where happiness is, especially if you don't feel like you have all the knowledge of what that means to you right now, because there does seem to be a sense of debate. So point being, I think you're going to start to find it. You're stepping out into the world. There might be someone confused. You could be like taking your time. I don't know. Particularly with the relationships, you know, there might be someone who feels stuck, or there's a sense of a commitment or a relationship that's stuck in some kind of way. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe even someone who's like kind of problematic. And you find your way to stability. You know, there's you know, passion and collaboration. There might be a lot of positive prospects or suitors or what have you ahead of you. But you start to reveal yourself to the world, or you might become seen in some kind of way. There could be a lot of recognition. And I think a solid home base. You know, maybe there's some anxiety in the home base, or anxiety of people around you. I don't, you know, and maybe that's where some of your fear is coming from. Even clarify this Eight of Swords. You know, yeah, I feel like there's maybe an issue you're working through, or there's some kind of justice you're bringing in to a situation. And also maybe the stark realization of, you know, what you want and where you're going and what needs to happen. And, you know, when that's also kind of a scary thing in its own way, because then we have to rise to the occasion. So just rise to the occasion. I'm going to take this a bit further on my Patreon. So if you want to join us there, please do. Again, it's in the description below. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like and subscribe. I appreciate you being here, and have a great night.